Hey y'all, let's talk about episode 2 and 3 of this Lyle and Erik Menendez story. Episode 2 and 3 is where it gets real. We're now getting a peek into the abuse that occurred. It now explains why they were so brutal in their unaliving of their parents. It explained a lot. So we get some insight into that. But before we get into that, the therapist, let's talk about this therapist. This guy is truly a scumbag. He was really opportunistic, trying to leverage his, I guess, knowledge about what they did to make money. He wanted to either pitch ideas so that they could fund, I guess, his business ventures, or he was going to write a book because he wanted all the particulars about what they did when they did what they did, right? On top of that, we come to find out his side chick is actually a former patient, which makes a lot of sense because no stable woman would have ran to aid him in this blackmail that we now know that this is blackmail. What he was doing, wanted to know the information, wanted to record. So yeah, he pretty much blackmailed them at this point, and now he's forcing them to have sessions with him. He's forcing them to allow him to record those sessions, getting all the information about the unaliving, right? But we also see that Lyle and Erik have a unnatural relationship. We see them kiss. We see them dance inappropriately on each other. And now I'm watching this. I'm just like, what the heck was going on in that house? Because episode 2 is where we get a peek into the sexual part of the whole dynamic with this family. And it also, because I know when I first saw the thumbnail on Netflix, I thought it was very weird, the thumbnail. Like, why are they sexualizing them? Why are they, they're looking more like a couple instead of brothers? And now I see why they did that. So they get the money and they are just living it up. They are drawing attention to themselves. They are not even participating in the investigation with the cops. The cops have really screwed themselves because they didn't even check for, I guess, gun residue on them the night of the murder. So now they are flailing to solve this case. The side chick saves them. The therapist pissed off the side chick, and she went and told about the recordings. And of course, we see the therapist go down. I'm assuming he went down. He should have gone to jail. I don't know if he did or not, but he should have gone to jail. So that was pretty much episode 2. Episode 3, they get arrested, and then that's when, for me, it was not so comical anymore. Well, it was comical initially, at the start of the episode, because we see them in jail just so detached from reality. Lyle is getting his wig snatched off in jail. He wants glue. He wants dimes to call his lawyers so that he can have them bring him glue and all of his products, tanning lotion and all this weird crap. But we see Erik really break down. Like, Erik is in there not eating, drinking milk, all this milk. He's just really just turning into a shell of a man in jail because he can't handle it. All the while, Lyle looks like he's handling it just fine. He just needs his wig glue. We see him bartering for dimes. He's they're really trying to, I guess, finesse him in jail. They want $100 for a roll of dimes. It was just really funny in the beginning of episode 3, but then it starts to get serious. But before it gets serious, we get insight to the fact that Erik might be gay. He finds what I'm calling a potential love interest in there. He's showing interest in this man in there, but he don't want to admit that he's gay. And it kind of ties back to the first episode when the therapist was asking, what's the dad abusive? Erik did not want to use the term abusive. He wanted to use domineering instead. And it's because Erik has been abused. He does not want to talk about it. He does not want to link his potential sexuality to what happened in his house. So we see Erik, he's seemingly the one that is, on the surface, the most impacted by this essaying that was happening in the house with his dad. They get a new lawyer. This lawyer is she has an affinity to individuals that have a story, an abuse story behind the reason they commit the crime that they commit. So she is highly in favor of representing them. She gets down to the root of the issue as to the why. She hires a forensic psychologist, and this is where it all takes a turn for me when Erik agrees to the session. They find out that he's been SA'd. He and Lyle been SA'd by the dad. The most gruesome part of this episode for me was his discussion with the lawyer, and how he said that the dad was abusing Lyle, but then finally Lyle demanded that he stop, and once he stopped abusing Lyle, he started abusing Erik. Erik talked about, spiking his food with cinnamon because it would make his father's man junk taste better. And the daddy not liking it once he realized what he was doing. And so Erik had to resort to drinking lemon juice, eating lemons to try to just kill his taste buds. That for me that was a lie. That was a lie. So now we see that this abuse was significant. These are not just spoiled boys that wanted to take their parents out for money, because that's the way, and I guess the writing was great because that's the way they were building it up. Yeah, your daddy was rough on you. Yeah, he was over the top, not a good dad, but you didn't have to take him out that way. And now you're just spending his money all willy nilly and you don't really care. But now we see it all makes sense now why it was so brutal. And why Erik was the one that wanted it done. It seems as though Erik got the worst of it, possibly. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in future episodes. Or maybe Lyle he was better at handling it. But it explains why Erik is seemingly timid, but very angry and very, he's vengeful. And like I said, we see him hatch this plan. The next few episodes I think are going to be good, but at the same time, I'm not really looking forward to it because now I think we're going to dive deep into this abuse, and that's where it gets uncomfortable. Normally, if I wasn't reviewing this show, I would probably check out by this point and just start watching it all together. I do that a lot with shows. If I get to the point where it's making it's too uncomfortable, I would totally check out. So yeah, that pretty much summed up episode 2 and 3, the abuse. And also, I forgot to touch on the fact that can't forget this point. Lyle also abused Erik. Erik excused it because the daddy was doing it to Lyle, and he understood why Lyle was doing it to him. Yeah. And so now I'm wondering, he also said that it started, I think when he said 5 or 6, and he thought he liked it, but he realized he didn't like it. But you can see present day in the show that they still have an unnatural connection. So are they still, doing stuff with each other or not? My bet is that they are still doing stuff with each other because they are so attached. Even when they were in jail, they had to separate them. And we see why they had to separate them. They had this plan to escape. But when they separated them, Erik was not handling it very well. So next few episodes are going to be interesting because I'm sure they are going to get into their current relationship, Lyle and Erik. What are they doing with each other? We know, it started from abuse. Are they all still carrying on with that kind of activity? What's going on? So I don't know. It's getting dark. Like, it was fun and funny initially. the unaliving aside, the way the writing is taking place. But now I think it's going to get more serious because this lawyer is going to push that narrative about the abuse, and we're probably going to get some more details about the abuse. For me, the whole cinnamon and lemon situation was enough detail for me, but I really think that they're probably going to push it even more. So yeah, it's a good show, but it's getting disturbing. I'm going to finish it because it is entertaining. And like I said, I'm in it because now I'm curious how much of this is true. The documentary I think drops next week, and I'm going to definitely watch that and see what's going on with them current day. And I don't know. It's getting dark, y'all. It's getting dark. I'm gonna try to hang in there to continue to watch it and review it. My next review will probably be multiple episodes, maybe 3 or 4 at once, because I really want to just binge this and get this over with now that I see where it's going. And it's not entertaining. It's shocking, to be honest. So those are my thoughts. I will see you on my next review. Thank you for watching. Bye.